In episode 4, Daniel finds out about what happened with Mike, and he's a little shook. Chosen brings up the fact that maybe this will push Mike to their side, but Daniel says, nah, I don't think he actually knows it was Silver. Plus, I heard he left town anyway during the insurance investigation. But the fact that Terry Silver went this far has Daniel concerned. He's got to put it on the back burner, though, because him and Amanda have a charity event to attend to. And this charity event is a big deal to Amanda. It's being hosted by a woman named Ava Garcia, who she has a little bit of a girl crush on. She's just a big fan of her organization. When they get to the house where the auction's being held at, Amanda compliments Ava on the fact that the house is gorgeous, but Ava says, actually, no, it's not my house. It belongs to one of our donors, actually. I think he's angling for a spot on the board. But that's when Daniel sees who the donor is, and he knows he's not angling for a spot on the board. He's angling for a spot inside Daniel LaRusso's head, because it's Terry Silver. Silver walks up to the LaRussos and takes them both by surprise. In front of Ava, all three of them put on a good face, but it's uncomfortable. Daniel pulls Terry aside and tells him, you will not ruin this day for my wife. And Silver chuckles and tells him, I have no intention of ruining this day for her. Let's just hope that nothing else ruins it for her. Now, Daniel's way more shook than Amanda. Amanda's feeling is, yeah, this guy's weird and he's clearly dangerous, but he's not going to do anything at a charity event. Daniel, though, feels like they're being lured into the lion's den. Even though he promised Amanda he would leave the karate stuff at home for the day, he's clearly not. She tells him that he needs to chill out, grab a drink, and most importantly, talk her up to Ava. But with Amanda alone, Terry walks up to her and explains, I'm not against your husband. She says, well, he certainly thinks you are. He thinks that we were lured here so you could start the next phase of your karate plan. And Silver just laughs and says, well, that's understandable how I treated him in the past, but that is the past. That's not me anymore. I want to have a positive impact on kids. That's why I took over Cobra Kai. I wish Daniel would see that instead of sending his goon to rough up my potential hires. And this is the first that Amanda's hearing about this, so she gets pretty pissed off. She doesn't bring it up to Daniel, though, because the auction starts. And one of the things that's available for the auction is bonsai trees. But the winning bidder is Terry Silver at $30K. After winning the auction, he decides to grab the mic, and he wins over the entire crowd by saying that this kind of event is what Cobra Kai is all about. And as a joint initiative, he's going to offer free karate classes to all underprivileged kids. Later on in the auction, Daniel sees Terry talking to Ava, and he overhears the name Amanda. And that's the final straw. He walks over to Silver and demands to know what he was saying to Ava about his wife. And Silver gets real close to Daniel and says, well, I told her that she was a phony. A psychopathic liar who should never be trusted. And when Silver points a finger at Daniel, Daniel pushes him out of the way, and Silver takes a dive, falling into the table with the bonsai trees where they crash to the ground and really just causing a scene. With everybody kind of staring at Daniel, he screams, he's just trying to make me look bad, but he's the one attacking my family. He said all these disparaging things to Mrs. Garcia about my wife. But Ava looks at Daniel like he's crazy because, in reality, Terry just said glowing things about Amanda LaRusso. And now the LaRussos are outcasts at this charity event. Completely ruins the day for Amanda, just like Terry had planned. When they get home, Daniel and Amanda start yelling. Daniel defending his side and Amanda thinking that he's ridiculous. Eventually, Amanda says, Daniel, enough is enough. This ends now. But when Daniel says this is exactly what he wanted, he manipulated us to get us to fight, Amanda thinks he's absolutely crazy. She can't believe that he won't stop. So she's going to excuse herself from the situation. She tells him, I'm leaving, and I'm taking the kids with me. I need space. And the fact that Daniel just lost his family is the real gut punch of the day. Now, things aren't going that bad for Daniel's former rival, Johnny Lawrence, but things aren't going great either. He's realizing that a baby's going to cost a lot of money, and unfortunately, he doesn't really have a job right now. As he's trying to figure out what he can do to get money quick, he gets a knock at the door from Shannon. She's there to pick up Robbie's things because Robbie is going to her parents for the summer. But when Shannon walks in the apartment, she sees the changes, and it doesn't take long for her to realize that Carmen must be pregnant. They start talking about what he's going to do to make some cash, and she suggests that he ride for Uber, do DoorDash. It's easy, you work when you want to. So Johnny starts driving for Uber, delivering Uber Eats, but he sucks at it. He doesn't get the whole customer service angle of it. He also doesn't understand that you can't actually sample some of the food you're delivering. But one of his last deliveries of the day is to the pawn shop that he used to try to sell his junk at. When Johnny starts complaining about how bad the job is, the guy tells him, why don't you just quit? And that's when Johnny explains that he's got a kid on the way. So the owner of the pawn shop has to give Johnny a tough lesson in reality. Most people don't get to do their dream job. His dream was not to own 3 different pawn shops, but yet here he is. And he did it because he has a family to take care of. And when you think about the fact that all of this is for them, it makes working a crappy job worth it. Johnny really heard the message from the guy in the pawn shop, so as soon as he gets out of there, he calls up Shannon and says, I'd actually really like it if Robbie stayed with me this summer. He then apologizes for sucking in the past. So that was what was going on with the parents during the day. The kids, they all headed to the water park. Sam, Anthony, Yasmin, Moon, they're all hanging out on one side of the water park. But then it gets a little bit awkward because Hawk shows up with Miguel. And Moon completely forgot that she'd invited him. Now she feels really bad, but Sam assures her, it's fine. We're still friends. Even though Sam says all that, it is indeed awkward when Miguel shows up. On the other side of the water park, Robbie shows up, and it's the first time he's seeing Tori since he came back from Mexico. And unlike Sam, Tori was completely supportive of Robbie going away. But she's also thrilled to see him back. After they get the initial pleasantries out the way, Robbie pitches Tori on leaving Cobra Kai, but she tells him that if he wants to leave, that's on him, and that's fine, but she's staying at Cobra Kai. Now, things are working out because Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do have agreed to split up the water park. Just stay on your side. But that all changes when Kenny sees Anthony all alone. He still has revenge on his mind even after Anthony apologized at the All Valley. He, along with Kyler and a couple of other members of Cobra Kai, walk up on Anthony and surround him. And Anthony's attitude is, really, man? Like, I apologized to you. I thought we were cool, but Kenny makes it known, no, we're not cool. They put a bunch of inner tubes around Anthony so he can't move, and then Kenny kicks him into the lazy river. It creates quite a scene, and it's a scene that Hawk ends up noticing, so he walks up on Kenny, and Hawk asks, what the hell are you guys doing? And out of all people to stand up to Hawk, who is the current reigning champ, it's Kenny, who got his ass beat by Robbie, and Hawk has no problem reminding him of that. This little argument gets even bigger when Tori jumps in, which causes Robbie to jump in. But Hawk doesn't want to fight him, not at the water park. He just tells them, you guys stay on your side, we'll stay on ours, and then they go their separate ways. But as the day continues on, a couple of the Miyagi-Do kids don't really feel like staying on their side of the park. There's rides on the Cobra Kai side that they want to try. So eventually they just get up and go ride them, but it doesn't go unnoticed by the Cobra Kai kids, and a little bit of a skirmish breaks out. One that gets them a warning from the workers at the water park that if they don't chill, they're going to get kicked out. It's pretty clear they have to find some resolution in this whole matter, so they agree to a race. Tori is going to represent Cobra Kai, while Hawk is going to represent Miyagi-Do. Kenny gives each their inner tube, and as he's walking back to the finish line, he runs into Robbie. Robbie still doesn't believe that the best place for Kenny is Cobra Kai. The first thing he does is tell Kenny, I'm quitting. I'm done with Cobra Kai. And I know you're only in Cobra Kai because of me, but it's not the right place for you. It's going to turn you into someone that you don't want to be. And I know because it happened to me. I didn't want to hurt you at the All Valley, but Kreese got in my head. And Terry Silver, he's way worse than Kreese. Kenny, though, disagrees with everything that Robbie's saying. And when Robbie tries to get closer to really hammer home his point, Kenny pushes him, telling him to back off. He tells Robbie, before Cobra Kai, I used to get picked on. But now I'm stronger than ever. And I'm never quitting because I'm not a quitter. And then he just walks away shaking his head. He then walks to the finish line where the race kicks off, and Tori ends up winning. But she wins because Hawk's inner tube ends up deflating as it was going down the tunnel. And Hawk cries foul right away, saying Cobra Kai cheated. Kenny once again gets in Hawk's face, and Kenny lives up to the Cobra Kai motto by striking first, although he misses his first 3 attempts. As Hawk is defending himself from Kenny, Robbie sees what's going on. He pushes Hawk into the pool to defend Kenny. That causes Miguel to come over and get into Robbie's face because this whole day, Robbie's been trying to break it up, but to an outsider, it looks like he's on Cobra Kai's side. Nobody actually believes he's quitting Cobra Kai. At least no one in Miyagi-Do. All of this, though, ends up getting everybody kicked out of the water park. This is kind of a final straw for Robbie. When he gets out of the water park, Tori starts complaining about the fact that they got kicked out. And Robbie says, look, I know everything's going well for you, but by defending them, you're part of the problem. He gives her an ultimatum. Leave Cobra Kai or we can't be together. And she makes it clear she's not leaving Cobra Kai. He then gets run up on by Miguel because Miguel thinks he's on Cobra Kai's side. And even though Robbie once again says, I'm not a part of Cobra Kai, Miguel doesn't believe it, and he's really combative. It gets broken up, though, when Johnny shows up, and he tells them, I want you guys to get along. We're all friends now. But Robbie tells Johnny, no, we're not, and we never will be. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.